What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Flailing Forward podcast, the podcast where we are talking to serial entrepreneurs, business people, and everyday folks that are out there taking action, doing the thing, often flailing, but always moving forward. I'm your host, Dustin Seiler. I am joined today by my guest, Carl Larsen. Carl is a father of two boys, a husband, and a serial entrepreneur and business owner. He has been doing network marketing for over 20 years. He has a business that does over 20 million in sales annually. He's jumped into the real estate game and taken a ton of action there and is growing his real estate portfolio and has also started a school. So he is doing a little bit of everything, and we are excited to be able to chat with him today. Carl, thanks for joining me, man.
Dawson, pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, you got so much going on. You've got a lot on your plate. How do you find time to do it all?
I don't. I don't. That's kind of the bottom line. No, it's awesome. It's all really good things, right? Living life by
Yeah.
design. It's interesting too, because when I got started almost 20 years ago as an entrepreneur, just trying to, I didn't come from an entrepreneurial family, right? My dad was a pastor, my mom was a social worker. And so I had to learn all of the different skill sets of how to run a business, how to grow a team, how to manage your financials, like all the things that you need to know.
Yeah.
So I love the title, right? Flailing Forward. That was me hard for about 5, 6 years. And then I kind of got the hang of it, but you still flail, just not as hard, not as often.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then in the last few years, jumping into real estate in school, we were flailing hard again to figure
Right.
it out, and we're getting our groove back. So it's great.
You just move to a new flail. You get the one
Yes.
down to where you're moving kind of smooth, and you find something else to learn. That's interesting though. So you weren't coming from an entrepreneurial background. What made you interested in starting your own business? A lot of people, unless they see that somewhere, right, you just go the W-2 route and work for somebody else.
Yeah.
Where'd that drive for you to be a business owner and an entrepreneur come from?
Dude, that's such a great question. Oof, my mind's like rolling down memory lane right now, right? And
Right.
I'm like, okay, all the dominoes that fell to get me to actually like say yes to jumping into business, which I almost was like ex-nayed by my parents, right? They were like, "What are you doing?" Like, I was a physics major, relatively smart, right? I had a master's. I could have went to mechanical engineering master's program at my dream school, and then I
Yeah.
wanted to work for NASA. So I kind of had it all like planned out. But it was a bunch of experiences in my college years, like trying to find money, trying to work. I was doing door-to-door sales, if you can believe it,
Okay.
knocking on people's doors, trying to clean their carpet with a Kirby vacuum. Uh,
I've had some
that
of those salespeople in my home as a kid. I know
oh
exactly what
yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, and I was good. I mean, I was good, right? Like I'd moved a
Yeah.
lot of vacuums and it was fun, but you kind of learn by fire. So that kind of led to another door-to-door sales job, which actually put me in the living room of this guy named Bob Marsh, who lived in a really small town in Wisconsin. And dude, it was funny because like I was giving him the vacuum presentation and I was like, this is the best in my head. While I was doing, I'm like, this is the best presentation I've ever had gave. He's on the edge of his chair. He's
Yeah.
so into it. I'm like, I'm totally gonna make a sale and make some cash. This is great. And then after I was done, he flips the script on me and recruits me for his network marketing business.
Oh,
So, an hour later, I'm like signed up in his thing, which actually was kind of the path, which is supposed to happen apparently.
okay.
And I started going to meetings, and I was introduced to Jim Rohn and personal development and becoming better. And
Right.
don't wish for a bigger paycheck, wish for bigger problems, or your paycheck is equivalent to the problems that you solve, right? All those kind of philosophies that I was taught. And honestly, it was about 2 or 3 years of that where I was like, okay, I can do this. And then I jumped into Herbalife, which we still do to this day. Yeah,
Okay.
so it was interesting. It didn't happen overnight. I think some people were born into it. Like my wife, her dad was a radio station entrepreneur where he would flip radio stations.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, yeah, dude, she was 6 and 7 on the mic running commercials for him, and like it was like in her genes, like it was not
Awesome.
in my DNA. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
do think some people are like naturally gifted and born. For others, like myself, it's kind of like scrawling and slashing and trying to like find your way in the dark, but
Yeah.
you do eventually. So
You get there eventually. I love that he flipped the script on you, and like that's the ultimate salesman move, right? Like sit and
yeah,
listen through your whole pitch and then
yeah.
immediately turn it around and end up closing you at the same at the same time.
Oh, and he
That's
closed me
fantastic.
hard. And he was like 30 years my senior, very experienced, very good talker. And I was, 20
Yeah.
something ignorant. And oh yeah, he had me hook, line, and sinker.
Oh yeah, he
So,
just he just let you run on thinking you're getting that sale. He's just reeling
yep.
you in.
I know he didn't even buy the vacuum. I was like, come on,
The
dude.
least he could have done.
Yeah, like buy the vacuum and I'll reinvest the funds into your thing. So, but no, I didn't even do it. And I
There you go.
got no, it was a good experience. I'm glad I met him. He was a nice guy. Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned that those early years, especially since you weren't born into it, it wasn't a natural thing. There was a lot of learning. There was a huge learning curve. What are some of the main things you learned in those early years as an entrepreneur that, have kind of helped you throughout your career? And I would imagine things you've carried even into your new businesses that you're starting up.
Yeah, no, I think interestingly enough, it's like the learning never ends, right? It just morphs and changes and gets deeper and
Yeah.
simple philosophies that help to start me on my path. The amount of depth that they have that you don't know that they have because you're new and just fresh. I mean, so even to this day, right? Some of the things I think is like you need to win the battle in your mind is like the one that pops in my head is the number one, which is every day. It's like a war with yourself.
Right.
It's especially where's my phone? I'd hold up my phone if I have it, but it's like every day you're fighting against that device.
Yeah.
I mean, and if it grabs you and it changes your biochemistry, your neurology in your brain if you spend too much time on it. So I think you got to win the battle in your mind. Which how do you do that? I think it's being intentional every day. Obviously, all the activities you're doing is towards something, some kind of
Mhm.
target, some kind of goal that you're going after, whether you're trying to buy rental properties or build a private school or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think that's number one because if you can, you don't even have to win the battle. You just have to make progress in the battle in your mind daily, right? You wake up, you eat a good breakfast, or like lately, I've been going to the gym and just like re-working out again. I was a college athlete. I played hockey all the way up through juniors in college, so it's like that activity is in me. But I took a break for a while, and I'm like getting back into it now. And
Right.
so it just when I get up in the morning and I get a workout in, like a good workout, I'm like I'm so ready for the day. So that
Mm.
it's like winning that battle, right? But every single day, all day long, it's like you're always dealing with uncertainty, you're dealing with fear, you're dealing with your belief systems that aren't serving you, that you're trying to break through. So it's like all these things are coming at you as an entrepreneur that you
Yeah.
need to fight through, right? Oh, this employee didn't show up today. How do I handle that? Oh, this person didn't do it the way that we talked about that I explained. Now, how do I handle that? Oh, now my son just threw up and he's sick for the next 3 days and I have everything like it
Yeah.
just happens, dude. Life happens. So you just gotta like move forward one
Got
step
to
at a
deal with it.
time.
Yeah. It's amazing the connection, the mind-body connection. When you get regular exercise, you get workout in, and maybe it's just the art of discipline, right? That if you're disciplined enough to go to the gym regularly and work out, it helps with your mindset. But even
Yeah.
just that physical activity helps you refocus and helps you be more clear in what you're thinking about. At least that's what I find. It sounds like you kind of have the same experience where you start your day off with some physical activity. Everything seems to be a little bit more clear, a little bit more focused and dialed in.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Actually, that was one of the reasons that drill. Like, remember when we first met at that mastermind class?
Yep. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Um, that was one of the things I was like scanning the room, like who should I talk to? Who should I talk to? I was like, that dude looks fit. It's like I should probably talk to that guy. He probably's got it together. He's got some discipline. And then, so that was like what, 3, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
I think that was 2023, I think, early 23. Yeah.
yeah, early 23. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you're right. I think it definitely helps and it gives off a different energy and kind of helps set your brain for the day.
Yeah. That's awesome. When you talk about, kind of moving with purpose and making sure that the things you do throughout your day have a purpose, do you use any sort of daily planning or weekly planning? How do you make sure that the activities you're engaging in throughout your work week are purpose driven and moving you towards your goal?
Oh man, so good. So I've used a lot of different systems. For a long time, I was using Alex Sharfin's momentum planning system, and I kind of created my own now. But what I've just basically brought it down to was everything needs to be linked up. Like if it was like a perfectly executed and designed system, which I'm still working towards, right? Perfection's
Yeah.
unattainable, but like
Right.
just moving in that direction.
Yeah.
It would be I have my long-term vision, or I call them your dreams, which is so hard to even fathom that would even happen for you in your entire lifetime. Like that'd be amazing if it happened, but it's just bonkers how big the dream is, right? That's your dream.
Yeah.
Then for me, below that is your target, right? And that's like a 1 to 2 year target you're aiming at. You're relatively positive that you can hit it. And like probability of you hitting is pretty good, but you know it's going to be a stretch.
Hmm.
Okay, then that breaks down. Then I take those and then I break them down into 6 month outcomes. This is across all areas, right? Real estate, personal life. And okay, where do I want to be in 6 months? I
Yeah.
get clear on all of those, my outcomes, and then I set goals. So the outcomes are like I am almost positive if I execute, I'm gonna accomplish those, right? And
Yeah.
then the goals are like, a week or a month where it's like I know 100% for sure I can accomplish this. I write them up so that they're dependent on my activity, not so much on the outcome. So instead of saying I want to buy 3 properties this month, I'll say, all right, I want to make 250 calls or connections with sellers and have good conversations, and that should lead to the outcome I want. But I'm more
Yeah.
focused on the activity, right?
Right. Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of how I break it down. And then honestly, every day I just take a piece of paper, this is actually new for me and I like it a lot more.
Mm.
I found if you use electronics too much, it gets a little bit watered down. So I grab a white piece of paper and a blue pen and I write out like, here's what I'm doing today, all the different buckets. I kind of bucket things like this project, this business,
Yeah.
and say, here's 3 things I can do today to move it forward. And then at the end of the day, I look at my list and I'm like, hopefully I got most of them done.
Yeah.
Some days are crushing it, some days are horse shit, but
Yeah.
it just it's vary. So I try and waterfall it like that. Back to your original question, because there's been a lot of years where you're busy being busy and you think you're making progress. And man, there's one stretch we moved to Colorado and did like a 4 year stretch out there, and we opened up a bunch of these brick and mortar locations for our Herbalife business, and they didn't work out. It was just the wrong market fit. It didn't fit in the areas we're in.
Right.
And I mean, we probably spent, dude, 3 years spinning our wheels. Probably spent 150 grand on build out and marketing and employees, like all like we could have just been hiking for 3 years and just like went skiing and we would have been further ahead. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
so I don't know. I try and waterfall it as best I can. But it's funny too. I bet you if you go out and talk to 1,000 people,
Hmm.
maybe 10 of those 1,000 has some kind of goal system that's detailed in clarity, right? Of like,
Right.
here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yep.
Very, very, very few people actually have it written out. Not
Yeah.
not like that, like not like doesn't have to be like mine, but just in general of like a clear system.
Right.
And the ones that do are usually the ones that crush it because
They're
they're
the ones
just
getting it.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Dude, there's so much in there that I love about what you said, but the idea of that writing things down, there is a connection there when you
Yeah.
write something down instead of just put it like talking to your phone or type it or click a box on your phone or whatever.
Yes.
There's something where it hits you harder when you write it down. It sticks with you longer. You remember it better. I think that's great what you said there about writing it down. And then also, the hopefully you've been able to do most of what's on your list each and every day. I actually made a post about this just a couple days ago. You know, there's certain things that are critical that you've got to get done. It's sort of like when we see a patient, right? We see what's the critical things that we have to take care of and
Mm.
manage. And the other stuff can wait till it's stabilized. And if some of those tasks on your list have to get pushed off to the next day, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
okay to move things to the next day. You don't have to get everything done, but make sure you get the critical ones done.
Yes.
Right. And then the
Um,
third thing I love about what you said in there is you can spend hours and hours and hours doing nothing and feeling like you're accomplishing things if you don't work on the right things.
Oh my God. It's funny because you don't really know until either someone helps you have more awareness or you kind of look in the rearview mirror. You're like, what did I just spend my time on?
Yeah.
And it can be really frustrating. And the hard part too is, and I think you're like this too, because you're a overachiever, in the best way, is like we have high expectations of ourselves. And so
Yeah.
sometimes we set up the rules. This is actually a new thing for me that I'm coming back around to that I quasi forgot about the importance of it. Again, the
Yeah.
depth, right? Is like you can make the rules to your own game. So like make the rules so you win. And the psychological impact of you winning versus you losing every day
Yeah.
is so much bigger than I was giving credit to. And so I would load my list up every day and I'd get like 40% done. And every day I'm like, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, I failed, oh, I
Yeah.
failed. And I'm like, bro, like you just are making yourself suck. Like you don't have to suck. You could be actually crushing it, getting the same stuff done mentally, and you'll build momentum versus the opposite.
Right.
And that got brought back up to my attention recently. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm totally doing that. So I'm
Yeah.
making some adjustments right now too. So
Yeah. No,
yeah,
I heard somebody say once, just checking the box next to a task that you've accomplished, even if it's something that you've already done, write down that it's a thing you were going to do that day, check it off. That mental check mark, right,
yeah.
makes you feel good about accomplishing something. Like you said, it just drives that momentum.
Yep. Yeah,
Yep.
and even like today, today's not a great day from my checklist standpoint, but it was a great day. It was a great day from a family, like my family standpoint. It's summertime, right? And so
Yeah.
it's such a balance of like I want to like crush it and work, but like my kids aren't going to be young forever. So today
Right.
my boys came up like, hey, we want to go to the range, golf course.
Yeah.
You want
Yeah.
to go? I was like, no, nope, I do.
Yeah.
Yep, just shut everything down. Just, you know, got everything ready, hit the course for like 2.5 hours, came back home, and I was like, nothing on my plate is going to be an emergency because I didn't get it done today, but I just
Right.
spent an awesome 2 hours with my boys in the course. Like, so there's a lot of that that can be difficult to manage mentally, but
Yeah.
you just do the best you can.
That's the biggest check mark right there, though, right? Is just spending that time with the family when it's important and taking those moments and doing that kind of stuff. That's why you do all the work, is so that you can spend those time with your kids, you know?
It is funny because I don't know. I sometimes you forget about that, or I do, and where it's just like
Yeah.
you get in this like achiever mode, and then it's like this is not why I signed up for this in the first place. Like the goal is not to work every day all day. The goal is to
Right.
like go have fun.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I love it. I love the mindset. All this information is so great. And so tell me about the school that you built. I mean, obviously you're
Yeah.
driving for a purpose. The things that you're doing, the mentally you're dialed in. You've got all this great advice about how to stay focused and things like that. What what drove you to the school? Why start a private school?
That's a great question. I'm still trying to
Trying to
answer.
figure out.
Yeah. No, the origin story is interesting. It was the second half of COVID, right? And the school systems up in northern Minnesota were actually pretty good. They were pretty good in terms of being reasonable about all the regulations and stuff. Um, but some of the teachers were just teaching our sons things that we were not in alignment with. And
Yeah.
so things like, oh, Mav, you get, my son Maverick, he got an award at the end of the year. The last year he was in school. This is one of the reasons we pulled it, and it's like we're not we're out. He
Hmm.
got recognized in front of his class for being the kid who missed the most school for traveling. But
Mm,
it was like a shaming celebration, like I'm shaming you.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
he felt bad about it. He didn't tell us until like a week and a half later,
Mm,
and we were like, what? Like.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because like we believe strongly in experiences and getting out there and seeing the world.
Right.
And there was a few other things like that where it's like it was mid-June and we're like, we're done, we're done. And I was like, hon, I don't know what we're gonna do if we have to homeschool, but we're doing something.
Hmm.
And so we've been thinking about this for a few years of just like maybe being a little bit more in control of the environment our kids are in every day. And so it was weird. It was crazy. It was one of those things where like 15 things lined up perfectly for us to go from mid-June of like we're doing something different, and then a week later we're like we said we're starting a school, to
Yeah.
going in September we have a fully fledged operating startup school.
Wow.
Like most people it takes 12 months if you're lightning fast to 18 months for most people to do
Right.
that. We did it in like 2.5. And so that wasn't normal. And so there was like 15 dominoes that all end up perfectly for it to happen. I'm in my wife's office right now. This is actually at the school. And
Yep.
we bought the house creatively, which I learned right alongside you with Pace in the sub two community, which is amazing, about how to do that. So that actually helped us in this endeavor.
Sure.
But yeah, now it's actually morphed quite a bit. At first, it was just kind of like trying to have a little bit more control over the environment our kids are in. And after it picked up momentum, and people were just calling us. They wanted alternative education, right? And this isn't everybody, but like a lot of people were thinking about it. And it's not a fit for everybody, but it's kind of like if you took a Montessori school with a entrepreneurial school that's like project based
Hmm.
and smashed them together. It's kind of what it is. And um, now it's really morphed into, wow, I think it has a lot bigger impact than we originally considered,
Right.
which is we're helping to frame the mindset of these young individuals, these young humans,
Hmm.
and the work that we do every day. And props to my wife because she's actually the one that's here every day, like operating it. I help on the back end with strategy and all the back end stuff, but
Yep.
um, so she's a rock star. But like, we get to like shape the mindset of these kids in the most positive way to like be free thinking, be creative. Don't go like, for example, when they do their work
Hmm.
every day. They're not at a desk, man. They're at a, if they want to be at the table, they can choose to be at a table. If they want to be in a beanbag, they can be in a beanbag. If they want to lay on the floor, lay on the floor. We don't care, right? Just like get
Yeah.
comfortable and like lock in to do your work.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, it's really trying to morph. So now it's more of a mission of we want to help as many families as we can locally, but then we're also working on some things where we can take it non-locally and kind of go nationwide.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome, man. So what are some of the sticking point, the difficulties you've run into with opening a school? I can't imagine it's all been sunshine and rainbows.
Oh God, no, no. It's, dude. Honestly, we kind of opened up the hood with public education, that whole structure, and it's not pretty in there in terms
Yeah.
of how decisions get made and why they get made, and a lot of it is around where the dollar flows, unfortunately.
Mm.
And you get a lot of really, really good human beings that are kind of inside of this box that was created, you
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
So, that, and then, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was the question?
Oh no, just what are some of the difficulties that you've run
Oh
into
yeah.
opening this school and how have you overcome them?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think like the mental of that was a lot more than we thought of just like, oh God, that's depressing. And now it's more of like, okay, now we have to work with the state and because we have to register and there's
Yeah.
all these bodies that we have to communicate with, and none of them are synced up. None of them communicate. It's like one speaks Chinese, one speaks English, one speaks Vietnamese, and they're all in the same educational worlds. Like, how's that possible?
Yeah.
This clustered. And I'm an organizational guy, right? Like, I love the organization and business, and so dealing with all of the different powers that be is challenging. Obviously, working with kids, kids are kids, man. Some days they're amazing, and some days they blow up, and a lot of times it's they didn't sleep good or something's happening. Their dad's gone for work for 2 weeks and they're emotionally unsettled, so they don't know how to deal with it. So they, have a hard time. So there's just so many different things at school that happen too, but a lot with obviously a lot of little ones running around, and I just pop in. So again, props to teachers, man, that have
Yeah.
the capacity to handle all of that chaos and craziness. But on my end, it's been more of just like, what are we going to do with this project? Because it's
Hmm.
growing naturally, which has been really fun and exciting. But like, is it just going to be this one little schoolhouse? Is it something bigger? Is it not? So we've put a lot of thought into that over the last year and a half, 2 years, and we're really excited for the future of what it holds for us.
That's awesome, man. We'll have to do a follow-up here a couple of years down the road, and you can tell me about your nationwide school you've got rolling out. So it'll be
Yeah,
good.
that'd be sick. Hopefully that's
Uh,
the case.
yeah, no, that'd be awesome. So you bought the house for the school creatively. You mentioned kind of we sort of learned that together growing up in the creative community together there. You're still doing real estate deals. Are you buying more creative deals? How are you dispoing them? What are you working on in real estate right now?
Yeah, yeah. I kind of sampled a lot of different things, which is not a good way to go about it. I
But
learned,
it's what
right?
everybody does when they get started.
Dude, I kind of feel like I was like, I'm gonna be smarter. I'm gonna like pick one thing, and everything that I would pick, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I swear it's. And then
Yeah.
like 2 months in, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So no, I saw, did fix and flips, did wholesale. I've done short-term rentals, did long-term rentals, did mid-term rentals, all kind of inadvertently. But now kind of where I landed and I feel really good about where we're at is I like leverage from a tenant standpoint, diversification, income wise. So I really like, I call it multi-unit, right? Multi-unit property. So there's multiple tenants that are creating the cash flow for the properties.
Hmm.
So what is that, right? For me, it's apartment buildings, commercial apartment buildings and
Yep.
co-living. And we're doing it in Phoenix and we're doing it in Atlanta. I partnered up with Kyle Cargis, who's a rock star. Shout out to
Awesome.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're focused on those two markets for co-living and the nationwide for multi. But for the multi world, we're really looking at kind of a niche bank foreclosure, receivership sales, UCC auctions, kind of the more really, really like people use the word distressed a lot now, and most of them are not distressed, like really like deep, heavily distressed. And we're looking for like the nightmare scenarios that people are in, so we can, my group and I, have experience in that, and a good team around it. So yeah, we're looking for the larger, like a 2 million to $10 million acquisition price for these assets, for the multifamily or
Mhm.
for the apartment buildings, that are in serious trouble.
Yeah. You're talking serious trouble financially or like condition of the apartment or both?
Can be both. Yep. Usually it's more financial trouble,
Hmm.
a non-performing asset. But sometimes, when those stop being operated well and they just, real estate, you just let it go for 5, 10 years, like it can disintegrate fast.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
sometimes they're in really bad shape as well.
So let me ask, that's interesting. Let me ask you this, because we're seeing a lot in multifamily right now of properties, balloons coming due. People had these arms. Now they can't refinance. Banks are reclaiming these assets. People are running into some big issues. Some big names in the real estate community have run into issues with multifamily just because of the way their debt was structured and things like that. How are you guys able to come in and take over these distressed assets when an operator couldn't make them function? What sets you guys apart from what they did?
It's honestly, it's basis. It's basis and liquidity. So any deal, not every single, I shouldn't even use the word deal, right? That's a loosely thrown around term as well.
Lead. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so any lead slash potential asset for this asset class, um, if the basis is low enough, it's going to work,
Hmm.
right? And so after we're all done, we want to be at like a 55 to 60% loan to value after it's stabilized and been appraised again. So typically what we'll do is with these assets that are this bad, they're all like a dumpster fire. And we look to buy them at 30% of the mortgage amount,
Okay.
which is like crazy low, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so you got to find like the right seller. So these don't pop up every day, but we've had some lines in the water. The last 6 months, it's picked up a lot. We've put
Mhm.
a handful of LOIs out, but nothing's bit yet. But again, you don't need to do a deal a month, right? If you do a
Right.
few a year, like it's a great year.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good, man. So, are you looking for deals right now? What are you looking for in your business?
Yeah, no, yeah, deals. Looking for co-living properties in Phoenix and Atlanta.
Okay.
Um, our buy box is 1,800 square feet, th at least 3 bedroom, 2 bath, no HOAs. It's kind of the broad stroke. If there's great parking, that'd be a bonus within, half mile of public transportation. That's pretty standard. So that's kind of the co-living, what we're looking for.
Okay.
And mainly creative. We'll do, actually, I should ask you for some referrals in this, but we've done creative co-living, and then we've done um, buying with hard money, and then revamping it, refining it, and then doing phase two conversion.
Yeah.
And so we definitely had some hiccups with a few of the properties with that process, just because there's a lot more steps to it. So we're
Right.
focused on creative, just to faster to market.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's kind of the co-living thing. And so if you got bird dogs out there, wholesalers, hit us up. That would be great. KyleandCarl.com for co-living, and our buy box is on there and everything's on there. If it's multifamily, they can shoot me an email, and that would be awesome. And we can start chatting if they're like bird dogging or if they're wholesaling apartment buildings. That'd be great.
Awesome. It's you said kyleandcarl.com
Yep,
and
KyleandCarl.com. Carl with a K. So
and Kyle with a Y.
Kyle with a Y. Yep,
Yeah,
Kyle and then AndKarl.com.
perfect. And then
Yep.
if somebody's shooting you an email with a multifamily, what's the best way to get you?
Yeah, they can just shoot me an email, Carl, Karl at multiunitincome.com. And I'll even look at if it's a creatively structured deal that maybe isn't crazy distressed, I might just take it down myself as like
Yeah.
as my own personal asset if it's a good enough deal. So they can obviously throw those my way. Because the ones that we're looking at are a lot of it is around workout groups inside banks, off-market broker contacts. Those aren't going to be like a wholesaler locks them up usually. That's usually a deeper relationship. in the
Right.
industry type scenario. But if they're creatively structured, even a 20, 30 unit deal in a good market, I would totally look at it and take it down. We should partner on those, Dustin.
Heck
Let's
yeah, let's do
go.
it, man. Let's do it. I'd love to get into some multifamily. I've been looking for some. Like you said, you got to get the right deal, and they're few and far between. So there's a lot of stuff out there that you look at the numbers and you're like, this is not going to work. But when they come around, we should do something.
Well, dude, and the 50 to 60% all in basis or LTV, like if you're at that level, most people are like 70 plus, right?
Yeah.
75.
Yep.
And so that's great when unless there's a fluctuation and something structurally happens to that market and like you go from a 85, 92% occupancy down to like a 72, like
That's a
unless you're
problem.
structured, yeah, that's a problem. That's a big
Yeah.
problem. So you need liquidity and you
Yeah.
need the right basis, right? And you need to have those two things dialed um, to be able to and again, if you wait long enough, it'll work itself out typically, right? So patience is our other one. It's our other pillar where it's like you gotta wait long enough. And if it's a good market, obviously you're going to benefit. If it's a bad market, you got to wait long enough for it to recover, and it'll probably recover.
Right. Well, and that's the thing for people who are structuring creative deals that they want to bring you right. You have to make sure that you have long enough terms on these creative deals. That's where we see a lot of people get into issues when they have short balloons or like with these arms that started going up, they were 3, 5 year arms. That's where people ran into issues. You have 10 plus years, like you said, if you run into a bad time, probably going to have time to recover in that amount in that period, but you got to structure them right.
Yeah, I just had a deal sent to me, 134 unit in Georgia, and it was a creatively structured deal, and I think it was like an 8% entry fee, and it's a big property, but it was a 1 year
Oh,
term. So I was like, absolutely not. It was like delete because I was like, there's no way. It
yeah.
was at 41% occupancy. Just to stabilize, it's going to take 18, 24 months if you do it right. And so exactly. You don't dive into one of those and you're in hot water in 10 months and now things
Yeah.
can go wrong. So
Yeah, structure them right. Okay, last thing before I let you go.
yeah.
For those who are out there, maybe you got a kid sitting, graduating high school, considering if he wants to go to physics or whatever
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
his dream school. You got somebody out there wondering if business is for them, or they're in the business, they're knocking doors, they're doing security sales or pest control. What advice would you have for somebody that is thinking about business? The younger version of you. Now that you've been through all of this, what advice would you have for them as they're just getting started on their journey?
Go all in with AI. All in.
Mm,
All in. I mean, like, spend every waking moment on getting good at it, figuring it out, and then how can you leverage that to help businesses?
awesome. Good
Yeah,
advice. It's
thousand
going to change
percent,
the
dude.
world. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, guys, that was another episode of the Flailing Forward podcast. I want to really thank Carl for being here with me. This was great. I picked up so many gems of this. Get out there, guys. Take the action, do the thing, go all in, make the choice. You'll feel like you're flailing, but I promise you it's moving forward. When you look back, you're going to see the progress that you made. We'll catch you on the next one.